Hey, DSIP Router family. It's been a while. We've been busy in the lab working on our latest release. This is what we call our summer release of DSIP Router. This is 0.75. In this release, we have a number of new enhancements, features, bug fixes. But today, I'll be focusing on a new feature that allows you to use LDAP for doing authentication to our UI. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's first review how authentication works today inside a DSIP router before we've implemented LDAP support. So when you actually install DSIP router, it actually generates a set of credentials for you. The username by default is admin, and the password is this long string. So let's go ahead and log in as that user. So admin, and let me grab the password here of the long string that gets generated. All right, let me paste that in. All right, so now we're logged in to DSIP router, right? So logged in as admin, right? So nothing really different about that process. I will say that what we're doing with adding in these authentication modules with LDAP being the first is that we're going to start supporting the ability to do authorization inside of the UI. So you'll be able to say only these particular set of users in a group has access to this section of the UI, or be able to do certain things in the UI. So it's coming. This is just kind of the first phase of this. Secondly, the authentication module configuration that we've built is it allows you to enhance it and build your own plugin modules as well. So if you had some system that you wanted to leverage for authentication, maybe just simply you have users in a database, you could build your own authentication module as well. So it's definitely extensible. So all right, so now that we've kind of showed or talked about how authentication happens without LDAP, let's jump to the actual terminal and talk through how it's configured and how it's set up and all that good stuff here. So the first thing we're going to do is jump into the settings file for DSIP router. At the very bottom, you'll notice that we added a new section called off modules, and by default, it's commented. Off modules doesn't have any set of settings here. So basically, it's pretty much it'll just use the default authentication mechanism, which is what we just showed, right, with the admin and the long string that we generate. So what we're going to do is comment this out and uncomment the example off module configuration we have for LDAP. And I'm going to talk through what some of these settings are. So I'm just going to copy this from here. I'm going to save this so it has the updated settings that we just did. And what I'm going to do is this little trick here. I'm just going to echo it. And I'm going to pipe it to a little tool called JQ, which actually allows you to pretty format JSON payloads, right? So it makes it much easier for us to talk through this, right? So the settings inside of the LDAP configuration is the LDAP host, right? So this is the actual host that you're authenticating to. There's also a user search base. So this is where it will try and find users. Also, you have the group search space. So this is where it'll try and find group membership. And then you have group member attribute. So this is the attribute that is going to look for on objects within the search space, which will specify if a user is part of a particular group or not. In this case, the required group that they need to be part of is support. I believe you can have multiple groups here. You can do a comma and have multiple groups there. And the user attribute here is the attribute that specifies that this is the attribute that should be used to look up an actual username, right? So these are all changeable. You can modify them depending on what directory service that you're using. So, right, if you're using Active Directory, that's going to be different. In this case, our example that we're using is an open LDAP instance that we have running in our test environment. So, all right, so now you kind of understand like all the settings that needs to change here, or what's possible to be changed. Let's go ahead and now restart DSIP router now that we've enabled this option. And from there, we should be able to go back to our browser, log off, log in as Mac, and I should be able to use my password here. All right. And voila, now we're able to log in as Mac, right? So that really is just a quick example of how you can enable the LDAP support inside of DSIP router. This feature is part of the summer release, and it's the release 0.75. So thank you so much for supporting the project. If you need any type of support or you need any type of help in implementing new features, we have a ton of support options available. Please visit us at dsiprouter.org. All right, take care.